all right. What is going on? What is going on YouTube? Yeah, I haven't been on here in a while as far as going live, but I have been posting the content. So yeah, make sure y'all checking out the content on a regular basis. We produce content as much as possible. Um, yeah, but it feels good to finally have some time to go live. Um, I've been watching this case for a long time, and I've checked out some live streams, some reactions to it. And I think the only thing that made me curious and made me, motivated to go live was the fact that I'm really starting to see that people don't understand what they're watching. I've had my theories about this case pretty much since it started, but um, what I want to start, you know, let's start with the defense because Brian Still, he's getting a lot of credit as far as the job that he's doing so far. What's going on, Spottum? Good to see you here. He's getting a lot of credit for his performance so far in this trial. But again, like let me start off by saying I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer. I've had my fair share of legal battles, and I've been, in many courtrooms. But it's so bizarre. Like this is like one of the most bizarre cases I've seen, and I want to stick to the facts about it. Because first and foremost, right? Um, I keep hearing this mistrial, like this is a mistrial, and I seen the fact that the defense recently asked for a mistrial, and again, not a legal expert, but at this point of this case been going on for a long time. There's been a lot of evidence, shown. There's been testimony and witnesses. Why would the defense want a mistrial at this point in this trial? Because let me tell you, a mistrial is only a hard reset for the prosecution. So that means all the mistakes that the prosecutors have made thus far, they get to correct all those mistakes. Then on top of that, you get a whole new jury, just a brand new set of eyes. And believe me, they're going, they're going to correct all those mistakes. On this very channel, I interviewed a guy. If you're from the Philly area and you're around my age, anywhere between 35 and 40 years old, Johnny Kane, um, back in like the early 2000s, he was famous for, beating his cases. He practically beat the district attorneys 3 times. He had mistrials, hung juries, all that. And every time they brought him back in, it was something different, you know, almost to the point where the initial crime scene investigator was pretty much um, dismissed from testifying in his second and third trial. Because again, the prosecutors got to correct their mistakes because the crime scene investigator, his testimony actually made Johnny Kane look innocent. And if you don't know who Johnny Kane is the father of the famed fashion designer Milano. Milano, she has a child with Meek Mill. What's going on, grown man? What's going on, Vici? Good to see y'all here. But yeah, when I see this YSL defense team constantly at this point asking for a mistrial, I, I got to shake my head. Why are you asking for a mistrial? Why are you not asking for a, you know, uh, discharge of all the charges? Why are you not asking for a dismissal? Because think about it. If you give the prosecutors enough time to revamp their case, they're going to get you on a conviction. That's just how this thing works. And on top of that, right? You got to understand this is a business for these attorneys. There probably wouldn't be, you know, no money, no monetary gain for them to get early dismissal of this trial. But if they get a mistrial, that means they get to do it all. They get to charge all the defendants over again. You know, whatever they spent, that was for this trial. So if they got to do this whole thing over again, then that's more money for for lawyers. But again, I'm starting to see the public ask for a mistrial. Why? I mean, that's not a smart defense. And you know, it's just baffling to me that people actually watch this trial and they could say that the defense is doing a good job. I don't think so, because I'm gonna just simplify this as easy as I can. If the defense was actually winning this thing, they wouldn't want to reset. They wouldn't want a mistrial. If you're winning the case, why would you want a mistrial? Why would you want to give the prosecutors the opportunity to start all over again if you're winning? If you're winning this trial right now, the last thing you want is a mistrial. But, you know, again, that's just simplifying it, you know, dumbing it down to the lowest point. You don't want a mistrial if you think you're winning. Only someone who's losing the trial would want a mistrial. So when I hear people say, oh, yeah, this is good for Young Thug, declare a mistrial, no, it's not a good look. But like I said, it's a money grab. I mean, if you're a lawyer, and because I'm gonna be honest with you, if Brian Still was to win this case for Young Thug, right? You know, optics first, that's going to make him the hottest, most desirable lawyer in the state of Georgia. But let's be honest, the average criminal that's out there committing crimes cannot afford Brian Still after this if he wins this trial. That's why you see a lot of these lawyers become these like legal analysts on these networks after winning big trials. You saw Johnny Cochran. He was on Court TV after winning the OJ trial. Here in Philadelphia, you see Shaka Johnson, who is a great lawyer here in the city of Philadelphia, won a lot of big cases, but nowadays you'll see him on Fox News more than you will see him in that courtroom because the average person can't afford him anymore. So yeah, Brian Still has to milk this thing for as much as he can because he might not get another big payday moving forward. Another alarming thing that I saw in this trial, and I understand some people aren't, you know, experienced, and people, again, I'm not a legal expert, but like I said, I've sat in a courtroom. When you're in court, sometimes you get to watch other trials. You get to see like what's going on in other people's cases while you're waiting for your case to be called. Little Woody. Now, you will have people come on the internet and say, oh, he did a great job for the defense. He's looking out for Young Thug. He just helped Young Thug. Let me tell you something. That motherfucker did way more damage before his testimony and definitely after his testimony. And for a lot of y'all to think that he did something spectacular, that move has been pulled off a million times in court. How many times you will have a witness who agreed to testify against the defense and agree to snitch, get on the stand and just switch up their whole story? That play's been ran a million times. And often it doesn't work. You know why? Because you already gave a statement. You already placed certain people at certain crime scenes, and you didn't put certain people amongst other people, and it's a wrap. There's nothing good that guy Woody did for Young Thug. Why are people claiming? And you know, I've questioned a lot of content creators I've questioned watching some of their content. I'm like, eh, either this guy's cosplaying a lawyer or cosplaying a legal expert, or maybe he's just a weirdo that just want to go along with what's trending. But Woody did absolutely nothing in favor of Young Thug and White. And this that play has been ran many times. I've sat in courtrooms and I've watched dudes get on the stand and say, "Man, I was off wet, I was drunk, I was high off perks." I don't remember what happened. I just said anything to get them, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, dude. I've seen prosecutors stop the whole thing, ask for a recess, pull that witness off the stand because at this point he's an uncooperative or hostile witness. Well, whatever legal term they use, they pull him off the stand, have a little recess with the judge, and explain to the jury why that witness had buyer's remorse. And the trial goes on. They actually original statements, sometimes even showed a video of what he was telling the police as evidence. So yeah, that tactic, that's nothing new in the world of trials. I don't get why people are praising this guy. I don't get that at all. You would never, ever, 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 ever think that you're going to outfox. Here's the thing. Anybody that's ever dealt with conspiracy trials or, um, trials where, somebody's talking, when you're called by the prosecutors, there's no surprises. They actually interview their witnesses before they call them to the stand, low key coach them at the same time. Now, it's already been made public that he made the prosecutors aware of the fact that one, he was going to plead the fifth the first time they called him to the stand, and pretty much gave them the idea that he was going to be an uncooperating, hostile witness. Now, I understand he had an immunity deal and they wanted to flex on him a little bit, call him to the stand, see what he's really going to do and arrest him. But they called him back to the stand again. Y'all don't find that bizarre? Why would a prosecutor call an uncooperating witness for them back to the stand a second time for them to destroy his case? It's so bizarre. It's weird. Again, I'm not a legal expert, and you would never see that. You would never see them call unless the second time they know they got him under control. But you only get one chance at this, especially those who make deals with, law enforcement and make deals with the prosecutors. You only get one shot to do what you agreed to do. And after that, more than likely they take the deal off the table. Again, I know it's different. He was granted immunity. I've seen cases where, witnesses that was, given lesser time, they agreed, they took a less plea as long as they agreed to testify against their co-defendant. And when that day came, they had to testify again. They had buyer's remorse. But what happened when it's time for them to go to trial? All those deals is off the table, and they're getting the max just because they backed out of the deal. I don't know the details about whatever deal Little Woody cut with the district attorneys, but he did make it clear. He made it clear to them that he was going to be an uncooperating witness, and he was not going to stick with his original story. But again, they called him back to the stand for a second time. Nobody finds that bizarre. The only thing that tells me is that it wasn't important. And sometimes you just gotta read between the lines. This is a Rico conspiracy case. Only thing they gotta prove is that There was an association. There was a group. This was a gang. People knew each other. That's all they really have to do. So for anybody out there saying, "Oh, Woody just helped Young Thug win his case," no, he didn't. Woody did more damage when he opened up his mouth. I don't care if it was in 2015. The minute every lawyer would tell you, any good lawyer would tell you, keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. Because anything you say can and will be used against you. And when it comes to a RICO trial, sometimes what somebody else say is going to be used against you. So again, I just don't see, where people believe that this YSL trial was going in Young Thug's favor. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if he's gonna be found guilty. I don't know if he's gonna be found not guilty, but it's just one of the most bizarre trials I've ever seen in my life. And the reaction to it is even more bizarre. Asking for a mistrial, but I mean, this case has been going on for almost a year and a half. No way, no way would you want another jury being brought, especially with all the mistakes that's made. I mean, I would even argue, right, when they tried to get the last judge recused, right? Some people look at that as a victory for the defense. I mean, at this point, getting found guilty under a corrupt judge would work out tremendously in your favor on appeal. But look at what happened. They got a different judge on the case. Different judge, claims to be fair, claims to be unbiased. But if he's found guilty under this new judge that again is supposed to be fair, supposed to be unbiased, everything that first judge did wrong wouldn't even matter. You were still found guilty underneath a whole new set of eyes. That's going to make the appeal process even harder. So again, I don't know what some of these people are watching. I don't know what trial they're watching. I don't know who they're listening to, but I mean, I don't want to say, but it looks like Young Thug is just getting milked dry. I don't know what kind of assets he got. I don't know what type of money he has access to, but yeah, this looks like a money grab to me. Is it entertaining? It's very entertaining. It's very entertaining. There's a lot of content creators taking advantage of all of this content. But the fact is, I mean, if we want to compare this to any real trial, the defense should be asking for, first and foremost, these high-profile lawyers should be asking for a dismissal over a mistrial. That's like the first red flag in my eyes. Like, well, why are they asking for mistrials? Again, mistrial is nothing but a hard reset. Ask for a dismissal. You know, all of the bullshit that prosecutors and judges have conspired, you know, contradicting witness testimony. You know what I'm saying? Witness tampering, secret meetings. Yeah, this should be dismissed. This should be dismissed. You know, throw the whole case out. But I'm not the legal expert. I'm truly not. You know, we're gonna see how this thing works out. But yeah, there's a couple, like I said, there's a lot of red flags that's coming up in this case, and I just don't understand why nobody's been pointing this out at all. I just don't get it. But like it's probably, you know, that Law and Crime channel is really taking off with these bizarre cases. You know, this isn't the first time and I think that's why they televise a lot of these cases, just to peek it. And I think it's a temperature check too to see who knows, like, what's going on. But I just don't want this to be an example in a bad way for, some of the younger, less intelligent minds to use this as an example moving forward. Only example you should take from this is Toledo streets alone. Don't promote that gang stuff because obviously um, gangs will get you Ricos, gangs will get you conspiracy charges. Um, don't use this as a measuring stick at all. Leave those streets alone. Even if you playing in the streets, try not to do nothing that they got going on. Because this right here, this ain't it. This is not it. I mean, we went from, just off the rip, some of the gathering of evidence, the whole rental car situation. Um, you got detectives, just practicing bad police, like just horrible investigations. You call in hostile witnesses. I've never, ever, ever seen uh, a bad witness be able to come back to the witness stand and just damage the prosecution's case like Little Woody did. I would never see that in a real trial ever. You know, but you see what's going on, right? You see Little Woody. He's having his 20v1s. He's having his moment with Charleston White. It's almost like he's being rewarded now. Nobody finds this strange. One day I see him on the stand. He's testifying, gray suit and everything. Next day he's hanging out with Charleston White. Like, y'all know I'm a conspiracy guy, but my God, are y'all that blatant with it? Is it that, y'all don't care anymore? Y'all not even trying to trick anybody. Why is this guy all over the internet? Granted, he hasn't been really talking about the trial while he's on that. I seen him on a few TikTok lives. I guess he's like a comedian also, but again, this is a witness for the prosecution. He's not in no kind of protective custody. No, like people are calling on him. So like you see a shift in everybody's mentality, especially when it comes to these streets. You see a major shift. You know what I'm saying? Because uh Takashi maybe the whole Takashi 6ix9ine, Treyway case changed everybody's opinion about dealing with people that's willing to talk openly with the police, lying or not. But again, his move that he pulled on the stand is not a winning formula. It's not a winning formula at all. You could ask a court clerk, ask a court translator that's actually sat in courtrooms and seen that move pulled. Because trust me, that move has been pulled many times where they try to double cross the prosecutors, agreeing to testify and agreeing to help put away a suspect and get on the stand and completely change their story. That move has been pulled so many times, y'all. So many times. Sometimes it works. Again, I've heard sometimes, but sometimes it really don't. They got all they track. They got it all covered. They didn't cover all they track. You don't think they see stuff like that coming a mile away? Now, yeah, I don't know if we could trust putting this guy on the stand. And it credibility comes in a lot. I remember that the OBH trial with Taz. You got a guy, the star witness for that case was a guy that actually admittedly committed like 3 murders. had an open murder case while testifying against OBH. Federal prosecutors used him as their star witness to put away ARF for 47 years. It was a time, a long time ago, where you really couldn't put somebody with no credibility on the stand. You couldn't really trust them. You couldn't trust them to be honest because, again, you got to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But a lot of these technicalities is really going out the window. If you really look at a lot of these technicalities, is going out the window. But that's why you have a high paid attorney in your corner. You supposed to really be trying to get those charges dismissed as soon as possible, because you don't really want to leave this stuff in the hands of a jury. Juries are humans; they make mistakes. But again, I've heard the defense ask for more mistrials than dismissals. I've heard them ask for that more than, it's like, why? Don't you want this thing over with? Don't you want this thing to go away? But then you think about the monetary gain. And there's a lot more money to be made in a second trial than it would be in a dismissal. So you can't knock, again, it's the hustle. A lot of lawyers are basically, they have a license to steal. Lawyers have a license to steal out here, man. They don't, they could act like they care if you found guilty or not guilty, but trust me, they really don't. And like I said, Brian Steele could come out victorious in this case, and he would be the most desired lawyer in the state of Georgia after this case is over with. And when it's all said and done, the average criminal is not going to be able to afford him. Just have a conversation with a guy that wins a case like this, upwards of like 5,000 to 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might get some person, that might, have a couple dollars, but halfway through that trial, he's not going to be able to afford that lawyer. He's not. I've seen it many. This is TV, y'all. This is entertainment. Do not. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all know, because a lot of people that follow this channel, they've been around the block a few times. They know that this stuff is abnormal. Let's just say that this is abnormal. This is not, this is not just, it's taking way too long. This case is this trial's taking way too long. And, it's a lot of pockets that's being filled. It's a lot of money that's being made based off of this trial, man. And yeah, I take pride in having an intelligent audience that follow me. And, some people was asking my opinion, about it. I'm going to take this live stream, chop it up a little bit, put it over on TikTok, because that's where, people was asking me about it. But yeah, man, I just got to be honest about it. This is abnormal. This is not something that would happen. And first of all, this case would have been wrapped up. If this was just, your typical drug kingpin out on the streets, it would have been wrapped up. You wouldn't have all these circus weird behavior, like clown behavior just going on in the courtroom. It doesn't work like that, dude. It just don't. It just don't. Have I saw, witnesses get on the stand and act a complete fool? Yeah. But that immediately, that gets shut down. They pull them right. They don't want the jury hearing all that riffraff. They don't even entertain that shit. Judges holding secret meetings with prosecutors and witnesses. I mean, just completely putting their license on the line. It doesn't. I have never seen nothing like this at all. This is definitely a unique case. I'm gonna say that it's a unique case. I don't want to call it a show because many people have called this like a show, strictly for entertainment purposes only. I've seen that theory thrown out there, but it's definitely a circus. It's definitely a circus, and it's definitely um, something that you wouldn't see every day in the courtroom. But I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it does work out in his favor. Just to add a little bit more suspense to it, just to see the defense lawyers, get certain credentials and credibility and all. But like I said, more than likely you'll see him on Law and Crime Network or Fox News, CNN. He's going to become like a legal analyst. You're not going to see them practicing the law much after this case. Prosecutors too, judges, all that. You're not going to see they're turning into celebrities overnight with this trial right here. They're just absolutely turning into celebrities. Even the snitch, the quote unquote snitch witnesses. I think this is the furthest little Woody has gotten in his entertainment, comedic, rapping career, whatever he does. He's finally getting recognized as a personality. So yeah, I mean, there's some wins for some people, but it's definitely not a win for the uneducated mind when it comes to the legal system. It's not. It's not. This is definitely scrambled a lot of people's brain cells moving forward. And like I said, this should be a message to like leave the streets alone. Just leave the streets completely alone. There's a warm bed and a wet pussy to come home to every night. It's not bad. Trust me, it's not bad at all. It's actually a win. It's a flex. It's because not everybody have that. Trust me, a lot of people don't have that luxury to come home to a hot meal, a warm bed, and a wet pussy. That's it's only for live men. But again, we have people that would look at this as influence and think that they could, fight the government like young. Yeah, even if you got a couple dollars, trust me, you playing a losing game because those that have money lost a lot of money fighting the government. It's a battle that you don't want to be a part of. You might feel as though, yeah, I came out victorious. I beat the government, but at what cost? At what cost? It's been a tremendous amount of wealth transferred over to a law firm that didn't give two fucks about you. For real, for real. It was just about their reputation and their career stat sheets at the end of the day. And everything that you worked for, everything that you built and became successful with, you have nothing to show for it except a victory in court that you should have never even been a part of, man. You know, I dropped the link. If anybody want to come up, chop it up, that's cool. Give it about like 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna head on out of here, man. You know, get to chopping up this live stream and putting out some shorts, man, because I think people really need to understand what they're watching. Because I just don't think people. I, I like to mind my business about a lot of stuff like this, but when I hear people like really champion some of this shit, is you just got to put certain things out there to the universe. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's just my personal opinion. I don't think the defense team is doing a good job. I mean, me personally, I probably would have fired. I would have fired that lawyer. Because it's no way this case should be dismissed. All the conflict of interest. You hear that The lead prosecutor was in a relationship with one of the somebody that was associated with the like, huh? What's her name? Fannie Willis was associated with a former YSL member or something like, you know, uh, faulty investigation. Why is this even going? If people can get railroaded. You can get railroaded by the system, but it's just emotions that's being filed. Mistrial, recusal. I have seen less. You know, I've seen cases being discharged for less reasons than this case right here. So at the end of the day, everything that's going on in this case right here, there should have been way more motions for dismissal than a recusal or a mistrial. And that's something that these high profile, very expensive attorneys should have been pushing. But I haven't seen that energy. I haven't really seen that type of it's like they don't want this case to go away. They want it to keep going. Even to like, because again, a mistrial is nothing but a hard reset. It's nothing but a hard reset. Like I said, I did an interview with Johnny Kane. He told me that he beat one of his cases, walking out the courtroom, ready to walk out the door, and the feds was right there to rearrest him. And that's been a lot. That's been a lot of talk as of late. Like, even if Young Thug beats this, the feds could be. It's a Rico case. A RICO is nothing but a souped up conspiracy case, and a conspiracy charge is like the Trump charge for prosecutors. Because again, they don't really, you could be like the lowest person of that group and you're going to get charged with all the fuck shit that somebody else did and could get found guilty for all the bullshit because you was part of the conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, some people don't understand what they're watching. A lot of people, they don't understand like the dynamics and like what they really looking at when they look at this case. They're going off of what somebody on the internet that's cosplaying an attorney is telling them, a quote unquote legal expert. And again, that's something else I question. Are these people like real attorneys? I sat back and watched a live stream from a dude that I'm not going to say his name, but he claims to be a great attorney at one point in his life. And I'm listening to what his suggestion and his overview of this case, and I'm just like, is he serious? Is he serious? It's no way. It's no way this guy was ever an attorney. It's no way. For him to even suggest. I hate going back to that mistrial word, but that's not good for any defendant, especially if it's a case that you feel as though you're winning. No defendant that's winning a case will want a mistrial. That's the last thing you will want. You will want a verdict. If you think you win in this case, you will want a verdict in your favor. You'll want this shit like, okay, cool. Like let's push this forward because they already fucked up their case. You don't want no resets. They're not going to make those mistakes that they make in the first trial. Sometimes the second trial, they're not going to make it. There's a guy in Georgia right now. I don't know the brother's name. I should have researched it before I even hit this live stream. There's a brother in Georgia right now that's been in jail for like the last 5 to 6 years. Just still waiting to go to trial because his first and second trial ended in hung juries. And he's just sitting. They won't let him free. They won't let him out. And they're just dragging their feet, just dragging the whole process out. But he's been incarcerated for 5 years. Been through 2 different trials. Hasn't been found guilty. And his family is now starting to speak out and say, yo, like, this is crazy. And this isn't even on a federal level. This is on a state level. I think that the brother going to court on a state level. You'll find a lot of that in the feds, you know, because the feds, they like to drag their feet. They don't have the same rules as the state. You know, they could drag out a lot of their cases. But you got a brother in Georgia right now, that's just waiting, just waiting. Then been through the whole trial process. Then, but again, by the time his third trial come around, uh, they didn't correct it. The prosecution then corrected all they bullshit that led them to the hung juries and the mistrials from the first two cases, first two trials. And they're gonna find a way to get him out of there. Hopefully the brother get credit for the time that he's already served, but I mean, who wants to spend 5 years in prison just fighting the case? You know, here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, prosecutor has up to 6 months to take you to a trial because you have what's called a right to a fair and speedy trial. You know, I can't imagine sitting in a county prison for 5 years. That gotta be the worst. A county prison for 5 years? Oh my God. That's crazy. But you know, that's what we got going on here. But overall, because I'm about to get out here, overall, I just think that this is just for entertainment purposes only. I really do at this point. I really think that you know, they found something, you know, keep people talking, keep people entertained. And yeah, you know, I mean, compare this, right? Donald Trump was just found guilty on 36 charges, felony charges at that. And he's still out here. He was convicted. He's running for president. He essentially had the same type of RICO charges, not well, you know, not the same charges, you know, because this is like a gang and drug conspiracy, but he was fighting a RICO case in Georgia also. His bail was only $20,000. You know, I get it. Different strokes, different folks. Got the complexion for the protection, you know. But man, this case has been going on for almost 2 years now, and I mean, it's keeping people talking. It's keeping, you know, the public entertained, and you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. But we got to see the outcome. We got to see, like, you know, what's going to happen moving forward with this case. What's going on, Miss Murph? How you been? How you been, Miss Murph? Fellow Philadelphian right there. You know, but yeah, let me get out of here, man. Appreciate Spot on Vici, the legend grown man. Miss Murphy, I appreciate all y'all coming through here. I don't be live on this channel often. I don't be live, period, often. You know, I even stopped going live over on TikTok. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all coming through on this Saturday evening. I just wanted to, you know, speak on this case, man. Like it's not what it's more than meets the eye with this case right here, man. I just don't get it. And yeah, it seemed like it's just a shift. To me, it feels like there's a shift. It could be it could be in a good way, you know, as far as, you know, how people view the streets and how people view that whole gang life. You know, it could be, you know, something that could actually move our community forward. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of, you know, people out there getting credit where it's not due. You know, so I don't care how good you think an attorney is, do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. And it's also important that you actually educate yourself on the court system and your rights, you know, as far as when it comes to, you know, dealing with the system. Because my opinion, the defense for YSL has been lackluster at best, very lackluster. I don't care what these people are telling y'all. Yeah, it is. No, No, I don't see any. No, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say that because But like I said, the first judge recusing itself is gonna make the appeal process harder if Young Thug gets found guilty. It's gonna make it harder because a lot of those mistakes that the prosecutors and that first judge made isn't even going to matter anymore. And as a matter of fact, I hear that the new judge is actually asking the prosecutors to recall all of the witnesses that they had, you know, listed to testify. And I hear names like Little Wayne, Birdman could be on it. There's rumors out there that Birdman actually could get indicted behind this whole entire case. Because there was rumors out there that he sent um something about a tour bus. I'm not going to repeat, but yeah, his name has come up. His name has definitely come up, and it'll be interesting if he got to get actually subpoenaed and called to the stand. But it is what it is, man. Like it's a situation that nobody will really want to be. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, man. But hey, man, as long as the world is entertained and distracted, why not? But yeah, I'm gonna chop on out of here and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I hope everybody else do the same. Subscribe to the channel, man, and catch me live. Come holler at me. I'm out of here. Peace.